everybody. We have a pretty darn good things to discuss today. Instead of 3 separate stories, I'm going just to discuss what's going on with Marvel today. I have a little bit of tea for you, and I think it's an interesting situation. I think overall, it's a very good situation. I think that this is the right thing to do. And the reason I was a few minutes late is that I was making a graphic. Ooh, hold on, here it comes. 1 second. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, there it is. Boop! Look at that, baby. Oh, I made a highlighter and everything. All right, so we're going to talk about Kevin Feige slowing his roll. I think this was a very good decision. I think that he was going way too fast. Happy year anniversary to us, smart girl. So the way it's going to work, thanks. I'm glad you like the graphics, Jose. So the way this is going to work is that you can ask me anything you would like about what we were discussing at the time. But then at the end of the stream, you can ask me anything you'd like for the final 10 minutes. Brett, I did see the rumor about Spider-Man 4 being dated, but considering the fact that Tom Holland does not even have a new contract yet, I think it's early days for that. Sony makes us look a lot of the time. Let's just see Tom Holland sign that contract first. But yes, the Spider-Man 4 movie with a more adult Tom Holland can open whenever it wants to. Oh, Tanya, look at you gifting 5 memberships to people. That's so kind of you. Hey, Alon. Don't worry, Steven. There are still plenty of release dates left for people. Don't worry about it. And yes, as I tweeted earlier, some of you, I have to remember, don't follow me on Twitter. You aren't on Twitter. Let's see here. The one and only, that's not what we're talking about, but I'll answer your question in a minute. I did tweet about Angela Lansbury passing away. Quite sad. Probably one of the most incredible careers of all time in the entertainment business. All right, the one and only PMJ. I will be making a video. I have to see the movie first. The social media embargo lifts tomorrow night, and it's not a rumor. Henry Cavill is in the movie. I've told you that. Everybody's now told you that. I don't know. This is like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield all over again. I mean, I appreciate you guys not wanting to get your hopes up, but you know, it's done. All right. So, that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. The one and only said, "I have work to do. I needed that to be answered." I appreciate your priorities and your transparency. The one and only. All right. No, Josh Love's movie, a Black Adam versus Superman movie, is not in development. The Rock just said he would like to make one. So I think everybody needs to slow their roll. Okay? Like, Dwayne Johnson would really like to make that movie, but let's see how Black Adam does at the box office first. So just to clarify, just because someone thought of something doesn't mean it's in development. All right? So I guess let's take a moment here to fix this. There are the different stages of a movie. There's the sparkle in someone's eye or twinkle in someone's eye. No, that's tomorrow, Xtina. The Real House Beverly Hills reunion is tomorrow. We're all over the place. I'm glad, but I appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. So there's a movie can be a glint in someone's eye, but that means that no one has agreed to make it. If a movie's in development, that means that the studio is like, we might make it. Why don't we talk about what we're going to do? So that's how a movie starts out being in development. It's not a promise that it will be made, but it's like it's looking pretty good and they're going to explore it and the studio is willing to pay for you to have to F around with it. Okay, they're like, kick this can around and see if it turns into anything. Then if a movie gets a release date, then the studio's like, we're making it. It's exciting. And then that's like basically a green light, as Chad pointed out. Chad, always so nice to see you. And then pre-production is when they're like, the script's ready, they have a production start date, they're getting all ready, and then they start filming it. Although now, that's why Batgirl was such a shocking development, because at that point, it was pretty much guaranteed your movie was going to come out. Now you're like, who knows, man? Who knows? Unless it's actually playing in a theater, who knows? All right, so pretty funny. That's right, Mika. You can also package a film, but still, a package is a pretty good situation. But being in development is like, we haven't done Blade yet. We're talking about something else. All right, let's talk about what we were supposed to talk about. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. All right, so this morning, Blade delayed. What a shocker. Not. The thing is a shambles. It's a shambles. In fact, I'll tell you the tea right up front. I heard Mahershala Ali is so upset that my source said, let's hope he doesn't walk. He hasn't. I want to be very clear. Mahershala Ali has not threatened to walk. There's been no discussion of him walking. But he's really upset. So that would be incredible. That would be, I don't blame him for being upset. When was it announced? As Brett just said, Mahershala Ali, hot off of his second Oscar win, was announced as Blade at Comic-Con 2019. Now, I know there's been a little something called the pandemic, but other movies are moving ahead. Look at the lightning speed that Deadpool 3 is moving at, well, relative to Blade. And I think Mahershala Ali, speaking of being effed around, is pretty upset. He's like, this is a major project. This was, I'm perfect for it. This was supposed to be a really big deal. What the heck is going on? And I think one of the reasons he's upset is not only that it's taking so long, but apparently, as Anthony just said, how bad can it be? Well, apparently it's that bad. It's so bad that I think Mahershala Ali was upset that it was handed to him. As you heard the rumors, it's a 90-page script. I can't understand who would even hand in a 90-page script. It's so stupid. I had the screenwriters included on this graphic, but then it became too small for me to include with my face, and for us to be able to read it. But anyway, there are two screenwriters currently attached to Blade. Not for long. They might get story credit, but I hear they're going to be pulled off, and that thing's going to be rewritten from scratch pretty much. So anything that you've heard about how the movie was going to do, out the window. The thing is just such a mess that that needs to start over. That's why the movie's been delayed a year. It was supposed to start shooting in November in Atlanta, but Mahershala Ali was like, I'm not making this crap. Then Bassam Tariq, the director at the time, was like, that's right, Jon Snow, Nacho. Kit Harington has jinxed this thing like never before. That's so hilarious. I feel bad for Kit Harington, but he is a jinx. As soon as I found out that he was going to be in Blade, I was nervous, but I never imagined something like this would happen. Basically, it was going to be like Pompeii 2, and Mahershala Ali said, I'm not making Pompeii 2. I wish that Mahershala Ali would be like, let's remove Kit Harington's character from this movie, and I bet everything miraculously somehow comes together. It's a curse of Game of Thrones actors post that show. It's just decent. That's a good Game of Thrones joke. That's hilarious. But yeah, it's just a mess. He should have been teased at the end of Werewolf by Night. It was absolutely ridiculous that he was not included in there. I like Kit Harington too, Sharon, but he's still a jinx. It's just the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Juan, there's no crying in baseball. Kit Harington has jinxed everything he's ever been a part of. Might I remind you how a little movie called Eternals turned out? It was just an absolute disaster. I'd be like, Kit, I love you. I hope everything turns out great in your life, but don't get away from my movie. But yeah, he's probably going to make another Jon Snow show for HBO. That's fantastic. That's what Kit Harington should do with his life. That's what we want him to do, and it would be better for everybody involved. So back to Blade. So Mahershala Ali looks at the script and he goes, I'm not making this crap. And Bassam Tariq, the director at the time, says, here are my ideas of how to fix it. And Mahershala Ali apparently said, those are even worse, and demanded that guy get fired. So basically, Mahershala Ali is like, I think he's really putting his foot down, and he's like, this is a mess. But that dude was fired off a Blade 2 weeks ago? How has he not been replaced? That to me is shocking. Blade is a hot property with an Oscar-winning star, 2 Oscars attached. How on earth how can he not get a major director to join him on that? That is just incredible to me. I know the script is garbage, but aren't they like, we're going to rewrite it. Don't worry about it. It's shocking to me. What about the director of Judas and the Black Messiah, right? Well, I'm sure he'd be like, the script can't be bad enough for me not to want to have a big movie deal like this. There are directors who I think would be, also, I told you that, Shaka King. Thanks, Mika. I also told you that Gina Price Blythewood from The Woman King also was one of the names that they were talking to. And you're like, Why doesn't she do it? I mean, she, of course, is like, well, maybe she doesn't want to ruin her Oscar chances because that's a great movie. And if she signs on for Blade, that could maybe hurt her getting nominated. Dancing Duck 60 says, Grace, is Marvel too big to ever have a John Carter or Tomorrowland bomb? Too many loyal stans who will see anything? Nope, that's incorrect because they already had it with Eternals. Eternals was their John Carter or Tomorrowland. The question is, could they have another? Yeah, Shaka King is like, boom, I did it. I fixed your problem for you, unless he won't do it. But Shaka King, like, why would he say no? He's not doing anything else. I think he's working on like some TV show, but come on. I mean, that's the thing. Steven just pointed out, never should date something before you have a good script. That is the problem with Hollywood right now in a nutshell. They are like, oh, we'll fix the script will come together. I mean, they were writing and rewriting Multiverse of Madness on location. Benedict Cumberbatch recently came out and was like, I was writing my own dialogue. And you're like, you're not a writer. I mean, that's like when Daniel Craig during the writer's strike was rewriting the worst Bond movie ever made, Quantum of Solace. I'd be like, I wouldn't admit to that, Daniel Craig. That was crap. So I just think it's like crazy. Just, you should never greenlight a movie. You should never date a movie, I agree, until the script is set. I mean, maybe if it's really far out, you could, but you have to have a really experienced screenwriter. That's the thing. What's the triangle if you want cheap, fast, and good, right? So that's, I kind of think, that's actually perfect. That's what Marvel's contending with right now. They're still trying to save a lot of money on behind the camera talent. They're like, look who we hired. And you're like, who the hell is that? And they're like, our latest person. And you're like, I've never heard. Or if it's Sam Raimi, they're like, stripping out everything that makes him Sam Raimi because, although, I think it's really tough. I think Marvel has to be careful. I think She-Hulk got very adult very quickly. And I think we're all kind of like, what the heck is happening? Although I think we all wanted Multiverse of Madness to be dark. It's really crazy. I think Kevin Feige, that's a good question, Marduk. Where is Kevin Feige in all this? I think he's officially spread too thin. And I'm a big Kevin Feige stan. Change the industry. He's a literal game changer. And he's had nothing but hit after hit after hit until Disney Plus came around and threw him a curveball that I think, it's really funny. Like at first, well, it's not funny for them, but at first we thought everything was going great. But it's like, when someone gets injured and you don't realize that they're as injured as they are, and then time passes and you're like, hey, wait a minute, you're really injured. I kind of feel like that's what's going on with Marvel, where you're just like, what's happening? I think they have too much. So, let's see here. iChili Brobot says, Mahershala Ali and Blade was such an easy slam dunk. It's absolutely ridiculous this project is even on any rocky ground to begin with. I agree. Look at that fake image someone made about Mahershala Ali as Blade from Alita. It's perfect. Everybody uses it because he looks just like Blade. Philip, I think Wanda's going to show up in Chaos Coven. Whatever, Agatha, Coven of Chaos. You can't have a Coven of Chaos without Wanda. I suspect Coven of Chaos is probably to resurrect her because why else would you call together a Coven of Chaos? We're going to talk about the MCU schedule. I'm having a great time with you guys as usual. This is the fun of the live stream, and I love seeing everybody. It's so nice of you all to join. You guys are great. That's right, Epic Echo. That's not even an official image. That's how good it is. It's amazing. That is a fan-made image. I love it. All right, so sure enough, they had to delay. Lloyd says, is it due to the Blade script? If you're late joining the party, that's right. It's all due to the script being that bad. And also Bassam Tariq's ideas on how to fix it being that bad. All right, look, Whelmed has a joke that he paid $5 for us to read, so I think we should. Conspiracy theory. Chapek is trying to sabotage Feige and to eventually replace him with his son. Oh, wow, I can't believe you made me say that out loud. I love the live stream. You guys are hilarious. Yes, Bob Chapek's son does work right under Kevin Feige as one of the executives. However, he has been there for a while, to be fair. Although I do believe that if anything ever were to happen, Kevin Feige, that guy would probably take over. Although we don't know. I mean, maybe we don't know anything about what's his name. I forget what that guy's name. I think it's Brian Chapek. All right, Rahul says Feige needs to tone down the projects. MCU is burning. Well, I don't know if I'd say burning just yet, but I think there's definitely some smoke. Oh, Xtina, you retracted your comment. Welcome back, Alex. Let's see here. Shivam says Kevin should approach SSS Rajamouli. That's RRR, right? For Blade. Who would love an RR-themed Blade and Black Knight? No, get Kit Harington out of there. But yeah, that actually would be an interesting choice. But I don't know if Mahershala Ali wants to be like somebody's first Hollywood movie. I think he might be a little bit nervous about that. Hey, Bo, always nice to see you. Paul says the MCU hasn't failed past the point of no return yet. I think the slowdown is necessary to prevent that from happening. Yeah, it's weird. Like everybody, like first DC went down the rabbit hole, then Star Wars, and we were like, that could never happen to Marvel. And now we're like, like that's scary. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, especially when you have stuff like Deadpool 3 that comes out, but I definitely think it's spread too thin. And that comes from someone who welcomes all the Marvel content that they can get. I'm like, please keep churning it out. But when people start losing interest, that's not good for anybody. And I do see that happening. Marvel, it used to be that a huge group of people would go around every single thing that Marvel released. You had like this fantastic guaranteed audience that was going to show up. But suddenly, they're fractured like DC, where there are only, some people want to watch Ms. Marvel, some people want to watch She-Hulk, but not everybody wants to do that. And I've talked to a number of people who are like, I stopped watching Ms. Marvel after a couple episodes. I stopped watching She-Hulk after a couple episodes. And I'm like, holy crap. And so this is like really, really scary stuff. Would I totally blame the pandemic? No, I would blame two things. The live stream. You get punchy Grace in the live stream. I would blame two things for this problem. One, too much content with Disney Plus. It's just too much and nothing seems as special anymore. And you can't really, as I said, these things can't marinate. And then two, Marvel Now. It killed the comics for a while and it's killing the movies. I can't believe it's the exact same thing. Who would duplicate a movement that was such a colossal disaster? Can you imagine the hubris of saying, wow, that was a total disaster. I bet if I did the same thing, it would be a success. What? I wouldn't put Mike Flanagan on Blade because look how bad the Shining sequel did. I'd be scared. That's like just craziness. So I feel like they never should have repeated Marvel Now. I think it was a huge disaster to do that. Marvel Now really hurt Marvel Comics. And to some degree, they never really recovered. By the way, I'd like to point out, I'll really get you depressed. The state of comic books right now is awful. Absolutely awful. Every week, I'm shocked at how few comics there are to purchase. I mean, it used to be such a treat, and you would be like, why aren't more people reading comics? Why aren't they? I saw a headline. One of you tweeted me a headline today from the current editor of Marvel Comics, Cebulski, or whatever. I forgot his name. And he was like, we want to be 10 years of the MCU. We want to be 10 years ahead of the MCU and telling these future stories. And I'm like, how about you just tell good stories? No one would adapt the crap that's being put out right now. All right, so Jas says, Kevin Feige is not overseeing the TV shows. Yes, he is. That's why they are inconsistent with the movie. No, he definitely is overseeing the TV shows, Jas. The only person who ever produces anything at Marvel is Kevin Feige, and that's extremely unusual. Philip says, Disney Plus seems to be slowly killing the MCU. I don't know how slowly anymore, but I think that's definitely, we can point to a problem there. Eloy says, hey, Grace, not sure if anyone suggested this, but what if Ryan Coogler directed Blade? I think he's too busy with Wakanda, that corner of the MCU. I think he'd obviously be great. But, Ryan Coogler can't do everything. And quite frankly, I would like to see Ryan Coogler direct Secret Wars. That's what I'd really like to see. I think that's I think Ryan Coogler is graduated. And also, I think that's a little unfair to Ryan Coogler to have to handle only the characters of color. I think that, Ryan Coogler should graduate to handling everybody, like a big Avengers movie. I really hope that he gets Secret Wars. Although, as I said, I don't know if he will with somebody else writing it. And especially somebody who did such a crap job on Multiverse of Madness. I wish more talent would be like Mahershala Ali and say, I'm not making this. Wouldn't that be great? If only Elizabeth Olsen had said, I'm not doing this Multiverse of Madness. Although it did make close to $1 billion. That's interesting. All right, so Steven says, if Avengers starts flopping, can I get X-Men faster? I don't know. Under this circumstances, maybe we don't want this X-Men. I think I'd be kind of nervous. All right, so yes, I'm glad I know I'm a little bit, this is like tangent day. But there's a lot of tea and opinions going left and right. It's fantastic. I hope you think so. All right, so let's see. Steven says, what do you think the early Disney Plus shows will receive so much better? I think that the first Disney Plus shows out of the gate, they took more time with them. I think they were like really focused on them. They were like, okay, This is our first foray. We really want to do well. And then they were like, oh, it's so successful. We need more. Hey, John, welcome. And they just did so many. I missed your super chat, Alon. Let me go find it. Sometimes it skips ahead on me. Oh, Sam says, I think Kevin Feige needs to take a break for a year to rework the phases and overarching story. It's true. Star Wars is taking a break. DC is likely going to take a break. Elon, I'm looking for your comment here. Oh, yeah. MCU, slow down. Should focus on less shows, not... That's interesting. Yeah, I think they have too much of everything, to be honest with you. I think they have too much of everything. Also, the first couple of characters out of the gate were hardcore audience favorites. We're talking Wanda. We're talking Loki, which is very lucky to have Tom Hiddleston, who was like the gatekeeper of Loki. And I think does a very good job on it. Not just any actor can be the gatekeeper of their character. You have to really be talented and just for some reason really connect, and that works. And then as Mika just said, and then you had Bucky, who was a huge fan favorite. That stuff was big. And then the thing fell off a cliff, starting off with What If. What If significantly decreased the audience size. The first 3 shows out of the gate were like movies. And then it started to fracture. Duke17 says, considering how I don't think Werewolf by Night was very well received. Do you think Michael Giacchino could direct Blade? I think he might make the movie very thematic. Now, I think that Michael Giacchino is very talented, but Werewolf by Night, I'm curious to see what the numbers are. I think the people who watched it loved it, but I don't think a lot of people watched it, to be honest with you. It never trended. It did okay, I think, on Disney Plus, but apparently She-Hulk trends really high on Disney Plus too, and yet the numbers are only mediocre. Philip says, do we think that Wanda will be in Secret Wars? Probably. I think there's a very good chance. Hey, Sadhu. Hey, Brent says, we need some good tea. This has my blood pressure going up. At least we still have pew, pew, pew. That's right. Oh, I'm glad you like the ponytail. Thank you very much. Hey, Carter B. Oh, the Brendan V says, can you please explain what Marvel Now is? Okay. For those of you who aren't aware, Marvel Now was an initiative to try and have more representation in the Marvel comics, which I think I applaud. I love, as you know, to have I feel everyone who goes to the movies, everyone who pays to go to the movies and is a consumer should be represented up on screen. However, the problem is when you decide to do all that representation at the exact same time, then it feels overwhelming and forced. You have to really try and make it seem organic, and you have to spread it out. It's like, you gotta seduce and entice. It's a little, you don't want to be Billy Eichner. You don't want to, thanks, John. You don't want to come in there and hit everybody over the head, hey, Ike, and say, you got to like this, you better, or you're a horrible person. Nobody ever reacts well to that. Nobody reacts well to that ever from any group. So I think that it's a real problem that's what they did. Miles Morales, Dan, I love Miles Morales so much. Such an incredible character. When is he going to get to live action? I saw Aaron Taylor Johnson running around in like his outfit apparently on the set of Madam Web, and you're like, what the heck is that? But anyway, that's what happened with Marvel Now. The comics did that, and that's where all these characters came from that you're seeing all of a sudden. Ms. Marvel came from that initiative. Riri Williams came from that initiative. Jane Foster as Thor came from that initiative. Sam Wilson as Captain America. And all these things, again, all these things are good. Riri Williams never caught on, although I did like her poster that came out today. But never worked. These characters were all a problem. Miles Morales was kind of factored into that a little bit because I think he came into the 616, but Miles Morales came around a lot longer before that. But yes, they did it all at the same time in Marvel Comics, and it was an absolute disaster. An absolute disaster. Hey, Russ. And I can't believe that Kevin Feige decided to do the same thing. I just can't believe he decided to do the same thing. It's shocking to me. All right, so let's get back to Blade. So Blade got pushed back an entire year. It got pushed from, you can see its original date there was November 3rd. I'll tell you how, and Chico in a minute, that's a good question. I'll tell you about my Avengers movie thoughts in a moment. Spoiler alert, I'm very happy about the change. All right, so Blade got moved back almost an entire year from November 3rd, 2023 to September 6th, 2024, taking Deadpool 3's date. What the heck? Now you have 2 stabby movies right back to back. Those movies seem very similar to me. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blade moves again, quite frankly. I think that they're not good to have those two back to back. I guess you're right. Blade kind of is. That's a good point, Juan. It's a little bit like a Halloween release there, right? It plays all month for Halloween. It better be scary. I hope it capitalizes on that. Like I thought, for a while, Thor: Love and Thunder was supposed to come out around Valentine's Day. Did it? No, it did. Yeah, it came out for 4th of July. These things are moving around like crazy. And I was like, oh, Love and Thunder, it'll be all romantic. I don't think it ended up being that romantic. Jazz says they should get Tim Burton or James Cameron for Blade. No way could they afford. I don't know. Tim Burton? I believe any one of them could make an excellent Blade movie with a Hans Zimmer score. I respectfully disagree with you, Jazz, but I really appreciate your passion. Tim Burton's just happy to be recommended for anything these days. He's like, you like me. You really want me to direct a movie. Thank you so much. All right, so Blade got pushed back, which made Deadpool 3 get pushed back several months to November 8th, 2024. That Deadpool 3, as I said before, can open whenever it wants to. That movie will be huge. That's another reason I wouldn't want to be too close to it, because everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm excited about Blade, but oh my God, Hugh Jackman's return is right around the corner. So that would make me a little bit, I would not like being so close to that movie. Then Fantastic Four. Let's see here. Devin says, any chance Michael Giacchino could direct Blade? Nah, I don't know. Again, if I were Mahershala Ali, I would insist. Eloy, that's very nice of you to gift a membership. If I were Mahershala Ali, I'd be like, I don't want anyone experimenting on my movie. I want an experienced director to go along with me, an experienced double Oscar-winning actor. He's like, I want the director equivalent of me. And I think that is a good, fair ask. I think Mahershala Ali's probably upset that he wasted his Oscar capital on this. He's like, I got a booby prize. All right, so anyway, he's like, I opened my Marvel Cracker Jack box and I got bupkis. So let's see here. Worse, I seem to have gotten a finger in the face. All right, so anyway, Fantastic Four got pushed back to 2025. What? That better be a romantic movie to come out on Valentine's Day. I don't know how romantic that movie's going to be. Maybe. I mean, Namor, I guess I was like, should Namor show up or not show up? It would probably make it a little sexier. You're right, Chico. Fantastic Four is supposed to be a family movie. I guess don't go to the movies on Valentine's Day. Every time I've ever gone to the movies on Valentine's Day, I've had to deal with drunk people in the audience. It's a horrible day to go to the movies. I don't know about you guys, but I've had it happen twice. And both times it was ladies. It was like groups of ladies together, totally drunk, and it was horrible. They ruined 2 movies for me that way. So I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not seeing any more movies on Valentine's Day. Thanks, the 80s model. That's very kind of you to gift 5 memberships. But yeah, Aaliyah, maybe during the day. But I don't know. I would be nervous about it. KP Production says, what about Nia DaCosta? Might have been a better choice for Blade than them. Oh, maybe. Candyman was very well directed. Oh, hey, Jewel. I always see your face on, I love Jewel. Jewel, I love that your face is consistent across the platform, so I always know when I'm talking to you. Let's see here. Jewel, I appreciate, since you did a super chat, I'll address this. I hope you rethink your loss of respect for Jen Walters sleeping with Daredevil. They were consenting adults with great chemistry. She had turned down plenty of guys she had bad dates with. Agree to disagree. I think that, Jen, I think my biggest problem is that shouldn't be on a Disney Plus show and it shouldn't be on a Marvel show that, kids watch the Marvel stuff. And I think that, She-Hulk just is dealing with a lot of stuff. I think that the fun and flirty stuff in the She-Hulk comic really works with one-night stands. And as you might recall, I had no problem with Jen's very first one-night stand on the show. The one-night stand that she had with that guy that she dated on the app. I thought that was great. I thought it was very funny. As you might recall, that was my favorite episode of the first 4 that I'd seen. So as you can see, I'm perfectly fine with one-night stands for consenting adults under certain circumstances. But I think ever since the episode 4, it has become clear that Jen is in a really bad place in terms of how she feels about herself. And so there's a lot of baggage that she's carrying with herself, and I think a sex Band-Aid on that isn't really the way to go. I was hoping that Emil Blonsky was going to help her, but it seems that he's up to no good, and he's going to turn into the abomination this week, and apparently was not a good guy after all, which is sad because he was one of the best guys on the show, and I appreciated his positivity. So yeah, so that's how I feel about it, and I hope you guys understand. And Jewel, thanks for giving me the opportunity to expand on that. Elon says, Blade opens next to Deadpool 3 to ride Deadpool's thunder and buzz. Deadpool 3 will most definitely be a success. Well, I don't know. Maybe they could put, I don't know. I don't like when they just have the whole movie. Like, why should you see Blade? So you get, I mean, that's not fair to Blade. Blade needs to stand on its own. 80s model, that's a very sweet thing to say. Okay. All right. So we got a little bit of a sidetrack there, but you know, Julia, when you do a super chat, I want to try and be respectful for that. Hey, Michelle. Oh, Jewel says, thanks for the reply. I appreciate your thoughts. Jen definitely needs more respect for herself and her worth. Jewel, I'm glad. That was a really great give and take, and I'm really, really glad that we were able to discuss that in the live stream. It's I have to say, it's a very complex situation. I certainly will agree with that. And I think that, it's a weird space to have it in. We talk about incest all day long on House of the Dragon. So, I think it's tough. I think it's a tough space to have that discussion. All right. That's right. It's a one topic live stream. All right. So so I don't know about Fantastic Four for February 14th. Let's get back to that. All right. So let's get back to the release dates. And then Avengers Secret Wars was, this didn't have to move. Thanks, Wes. I got to tell you, it was a tough week for me with the She-Hulk misunderstanding, I did feel bad about the way some people felt about that. So again, Jewel, I'm really glad that I got to talk to you about that. Hey, Nuno. And then my misunderstanding about House of the Dragon this week. I think people don't understand sometimes that their comments come across as very aggressive. And I know that, that's like the pot calling the kettle black. I know sometimes my comments come across as very aggressive. So it's just been it was tough to have those two things back to back. I was like, oh. But as I put that's the whole reason I put that poll out. Nobody knows what the heck Viserys was talking about. Also, I really wish that I could put subtitles on my screeners for House of the Dragon, but they don't have them on there. So I got to tell you, I had a hard time telling, just like Allison, I had a very hard time telling you what Viserys was saying at the end. I had Viserys, I had my volume turned up all the way, and I was like, what the heck is he saying? He said Aegon. And that's what I thought he said. Also, I have to tell you, they said, Grace, I think you brought personal baggage to this. Well, I got a news flash for you. Everybody brings personal baggage to everything. Okay? I think that's really, really important. And I have to say that I have known a couple of guys in my life who have always, at the end of the day, said, I need to do what's best for me. And, it is what it is. But I feel like, watch out for that. Watch out for that. Hey, Eddie Wu. You guys are so great. Thanks, Whelmed. I'm glad. All right. Yes, Nuno, I'm so glad that you're back. So I just think that I totally get where it's coming from. And I do have to tell you, at the end of the day, I do feel I'm a little annoyed with Viserys. I know some people who are like, Viserys supported her to the end, but he didn't. I mean, it was certainly by accident that he messed. I can't believe, how did we get, it is Rant Tuesday. How on earth did we get House of the Dragon topic? But I just want to say that, and I will talk about it on the next breakdown, but I feel very bad about, people wanting to defend Viserys. And when he walked into that throne room and crawled, I don't want to give anything away, but I was like, oh my God, what a great television moment. What a dad. But then he screwed everything up. And I don't care, the best intentions or pave the road to hell. And boy, are we about to enter hell on that show. So I'm going to write that down. Give me a second. I'm going to write that down. Best of intentions pave the road to hell. So I don't care where his heart was. He really screwed over his kid. All right, David says, that's a great confusion to have. It brings the conversation and keeps it trending, though. Yeah, sending love from Guatemala. Hey, that's nice. It's good to see you. Gigi says, Grace, I hope you don't let those comments get to you. The work that you do What you give us is way bigger than all that. Thank you. Some people were like, redo the episode. And I'm like, you do realize it takes 7 to 8 hours to do a breakdown, right? I just can't redo the breakdown. But we'll talk about it on the coming week. All right. So anyway, back to Marvel. All right. So Avengers: Secret Wars got moved back like almost 3/4 of a year. It got moved from November 7th, 2025 to May 1st, 2026. And I love this. I think this is the way to go. I think part of me was like, oh, that'd be great to have them right back to back. Wouldn't that be wonderful for us? But this is becoming such a mess. I'm like, please take your time. And I really liked the year in between Infinity War and Endgame. It gives us a lot of time to let these things marinate. Thanks, Chris. I think that's really important. I miss the marinating of this. I miss the discussions that we used to have. Remember, we would discuss these things for months? Now, 1 to 2 weeks after something airs, it's done. Because from so often the very same franchise, we've already moved on to a different conversation with the show. I almost wish that Disney Plus would do a binge model, and that would give us more space to work. Daniel says, I just find it very exhausting that Marvel continues to set dates only to change them every couple of months. Well, maybe that's why they did that to Secret Wars, because they still don't have a director. Maybe it was preemptive. Winter, there will be, that's a great picture, Winter. There will be a film between the two. Right now, there are only 3 Marvel movies in 2023, which I think is the right amount of movies to have in a year. I think 4 is way too many. 3 Marvel movies, 3 Marvel shows. And I do think the Marvel shows should be binged, to be honest with you. Now that I don't know. I loved the weekly release to start out with, but maybe 2 shows and 3 movies. They need to space this shit out. Ivan says, can we have a $3 billion MCU movies in a row? Which ones? I don't know if Fantastic Four will be a $1 billion movie. I think Deadpool 3 will be a $1 billion movie, and I do think Avengers Kang Dynasty will. Well, I don't know. Well, I like Destin Daniel Cretton a lot. Dimitri, I think you're going to get your X-Men sprinkled in the thing. Jose says binge model directly contradicts continued subscribership. That's why it was abandoned. That's true. But I feel like, I don't know. I think it's tough. Sony Pictures is rumored to be eyeing a theatrical release on July 12th, 2024. I don't really know about that source. I don't like talking about other scoopers. I don't think it's appropriate. I certainly don't appreciate it when they talk about me. But let's just say, as I said at the beginning of the stream, it's way too early because they don't even have a contract for Tom Holland. So let's let him have a contract first. But that is very aggressive to make Thunderbolts have to move. But, consistently, Spider-Man has been a 4th of July movie. No, the last one came out for December. I don't know. They'll work it out. They're not going to mess with Feige. They like Feige. They want to continue to play nice with Feige and for Feige to play with some of their toys and vice versa. So anyway, in 2023, there are 3 movies. In 2024, as you can see, there are 4 movies. I think it's too many. I think it's way too many. Way too many. Hey, Devin. Thanks for joining Movie Club. We're watching Aliens on October 30th. Ricky says, can you do a ranking video of the Disney Plus MCU shows after She-Hulk? I'm so glad you like my ranking videos. I do my ranking videos at the end of the year. So I'll do a Marvel movies and I'll do a Marvel Plus shows. Some people are like, why don't you do them all on one thing? And I'm like, it's madness. Although there's just so much content at this point. Devin says, I'd love if they started doing more one-off specials, like the Werewolf by Night. That would be nice. I would like that. But, they got to, again, Werewolf by Night, to me, again, some people were like, I love Werewolf by Night. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. There are some Marvel fans who are like that. And that's fine. That's great. That's been for a long time, the secret of Marvel's success. But I would like these things to stop being half-baked. I remember a time when everything that came out from Marvel was fully baked. And it was a great time. It was a great time. Colby says, what about the Daniels? Or not the Daniels. Chad Stahelski would be great for Blade. I wish Chad Stahelski would get more stuff. He's supposed to be doing that Henry Cavill Highlander movie, but I don't know what the heck's going on there. I'm glad you're enjoying today's very honest stream. Ice Rhino says Marvel hasn't been able to replace Tony and Steve as true franchise characters, and it's hurting everything. In the same, I think that's true to a degree. I think that's true. It was a great ending, though. It made for a great movie with Endgame. Tiff Lockhart says, where'd it go? Part 1 and Part 2 for streaming shows can make sense, like Stranger Things 4. Well, it would if they had... Stranger Things 4 was okay, because like every episode was a freaking movie. It was glorious. But, 35 minutes at a time? I don't know. Jazz says, Marvel lost its protectors. Robert Downey Jr. was very crucial. Avengers... Although, I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. Every other thing he's done has been so bad. I don't know what kind of a businessman he is. Avengers will feel empty without Iron Man. Also Ridley Scott for Blade. Any Ghost Rider tea. I haven't heard anything about Ghost Rider. Ridley Scott, I don't know. He's hit or miss. Let's see here. John says, how do I join the movie club? Oh, John, that is the second level of membership. If you become a BTC Movie Club member, we do monthly watch-alongs. I Know Drew says, do you think F4 will show up in Ant-Man? Also, have you heard anything about Doom showing up in Black Panther? I cannot confirm that Doom shows up in Black Panther, but that's something I've been hearing for a long time. And again, they're changing things at the last minute these days. We all had heard about the Ironmonger being referenced in Multiverse of Madness, and they had his drones walking around, but he didn't show up. I do think Fantastic Four, I don't think they'll necessarily show up themselves in Ant-Man, but I do think there should be a tease. You might see some F4 logo or something. I think there will be a tease. It's just too stupid not to. And also, I'm pretty sure that's where they've been. Let's see here. Peter says, hey Grace, any thoughts on Amelia Alcock Renera as a possible Gwen Stacy? I think she seems too young for that role. Hey Nico. Winter says, MCU needs to have each episode be appointment must-see viewing. Thank you. Marvel can't afford to have just for fun episodes if they want to pull big numbers. I couldn't agree more, Winter. I think Star Wars has the same thing. If you want to have people talking about you, or your thing has to be so good that people talk about it like if it's Succession or House. Like HBO stuff is just that well written. But, and if the Marvel stuff was that well written, I think Daredevil could be that kind of a show, well, then maybe people would still talk about it every week. But this stuff's not high enough quality not to have the Easter eggs. I know the people thought my Easter egg comment was quite controversial, but it was also right on the money. Cowboy Buster says, Blade delayed because Marvel is in disarray. That's very nice of you to sum up the stream. But yes, I agree. And I like your picture a lot there. That's hilarious. I like that handlebar mustache you got going on there. Ike and Ike says, first of all, I don't get how you are blaming Marvel now when only 3 movies on that list are led by POC, all 3 men, no women of color. I just told you, it's the same, a lot of the same characters, and it's the same idea. Too much change, too fast, all at the same time. And characters that, some of those characters just didn't catch on. If they're not in the comics today still, people didn't like them enough. Ivan Sarmiento says, thoughts on MCU to do more special presentations for new characters instead of weekly 6-part shows? No. Oh, Bug, I'm glad you like the watch-alongs. Do you feel Werewolf by Night was fully introduced? Do you really feel like you know Elsa Bloodstone? I think that I like having a holiday special, but I don't know how I feel about that. Michelle says, Olivia Cook for Marvel DC, oh no, that's not Michelle. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Michelle, if Thor 5 happens, will they let Taika direct it? Yes, if he agrees, I think, to be more regimented. Elon says, 15-minute short was perfect length in Werewolf by Night. I would love it if they converted more shows to holiday specials and one-offs like Werewolf by Night. I'm glad you feel that way. I don't agree. Devin says, Grace, not every Marvel Disney Plus show should be a week-to-week. WandaVision, Loki, perfect for week-to-week Ms. Marvel binge show. Well, would you feel that way if they did a better job making Ms. Marvel? I don't think it's good to give people a pass and say, well, let's just make it a giant ball of crap. Well, if crap's too... See, I get punchy. Not a giant ball of crap, but let's just make it a giant ball of mediocrity. No, let's put out a quality show. Thank you very much. Juan says, is it true that Ant-Man trailer is coming soon? Probably. Yeah, they've showed it enough places. We'll go over these movies, what I've heard about them in a minute. That would be a fun use of our time. Tiff said, Olivia Cook for Marvel or DC, what character? It's hard for me to say that right off the top of my head because I want to get going to the next comments, but I'm liking Olivia Cook very much on House of the Dragon. I think she's doing a great job. Louise says, based solely on talent and looks, What do you think of Tom Hopper as Cyclops and Evan Rachel Wood as Jean Grey or Emma Frost? Evan Rachel Wood, no. Even though I do like her, I think that Westworld is not successful enough. I don't think she'd bring enough people in. Tom Hopper as Cyclops, maybe. But I liked people's suggestion of Taron Egerton for Cyclops over Wolverine. I actually think he's a better fit for that role. Marco said, Fug, you ever heard that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Well, I think he got a new saying, and that's make Disney Plus shows, and he got stuck. Danelle says the Marvel shows are only 6 to 9 episodes, too short to have as much filler as they do. Couldn't agree more. And they've all fallen into the same pattern, just like we've seen with Star Wars. Episode 1 is great, 2, 3, and 4 are mediocre, and then 5 gets kind of interesting, and then 6 makes us a bunch of promises, and we're like, we're back in. You know, it's same with Obi-Wan. Hey, Daniel. Ozzy G Squared says, how do you feel about this summer's comic events? Dark Crisis versus Judgment Day. I didn't read either of them. I thought, I'm tired. I've seen the DC Universe. Thanks, Evans. I've seen the DC Universe get wiped out so many times, I don't care anymore. And I think, like, for instance, the new thing about, like, the X-Men versus the Eternals, couldn't care less. Don't read it. Stop trying to make the Eternals happen. They're not going to happen. Martin says, do you think they can make mid-budget standalone Disney Plus movies? That would be a good idea. I like that idea a lot. That was what I would prefer over the specials. Did I miss any other comments? Oh, no. Devin says, Adam Driver and Amanda Seyfried as MCU Reed and Sue? Maybe. Nothing's been signed yet. These people are still only in discussions. Hey, Daniel, welcome. All right, so let me go through what's with these movies, and then I'll do Ask Me Anything. I do sure have a good time talking to you guys. All right, so Michelle says, are you excited for the Guardians Holiday Special? I sure am. I'm excited about it. All right. Let's see here. Travis, you don't get the Adam Driver awesomeness? That must be tough. Because he's in a lot of stuff. All right. Elia, don't start the rumors. All right, let's see here. So what have I heard about specific films? All right, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and also my thoughts on it. I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever will be a hit. I think it's a little bit female-centric. I'm curious to see how it'll do at the box office. I hope to be pleasantly surprised, but right now I feel it'll probably underperform just a tad from the first Black Panther. But let's see how good it is. I have not heard. I know some of the twists in it, but I think it looks really, really good. I'm very excited about it. I definitely think it'll make $1 billion, but the question is, will it match the first film? All right, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I heard this was, no surprise from Peyton Reed, kind of mediocre. But let's see. I heard the movie was a little bit pointless. I guess if you want to see some Kang action, maybe you tune in for that. But it's a little bit, I think Quantumania is like a Thor Love and Thunder level movie. And that still made, like a decent amount of cash. So I guess Marvel will be like, whatever. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I heard that this takes very much, it's very much in its own space, just like the other Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Very Rocket Raccoon and Cosmo the Space Dog centric. So the question is, how are people going to react to that? I'd be very curious to see how Guardians of the Galaxy does, and how James Gunn's so far, I don't know if he's been affected by his scandal or not, because he's been doing more R-rated things. This will be the first true test as to whether or not he can bounce back exactly. And also, some people didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy too. I preferred it. I preferred it to the first movie, but I know that a lot of people didn't agree with that. So let's see. And also, the Suicide Squad was a big flop, but, it was also on HBO Max at the same time. So there hasn't really been a true test of that. So, but let's see. Let's see how Guardians of the Galaxy does. As I said, I liked the last one. The Marvels. I don't know about the Marvels. I don't know. I really want it to be successful. I'm scared. I think that it's going to be like, Bee and Puppycat. Like those, or like the She-Ra on Netflix, like that kind of animation. I think the Marvels is going to be the live action equivalent of that. Now, I think there's definitely an audience for that, but the question is, how big is it? That's my question about the Marvels. I'm nervous about it. So anyway, so that's that one. Captain America New World Order. Massive hit. Massive hit. I think that's going to be so big. I think it's going to be incredible. I think it's going to be huge. Very excited about that movie. And very excited for Mr. Julius Ona. That could be big. Let's see here. Alon says, I think Wakanda Forever will be Marvel's big comeback for this phase, which was a bit weak. I hope so, Alon. I hope so. So yeah, Captain America New World Order, massive hit. Massive. Thunderbolts. I think this could also be very big. I don't think it's going to be as big as Captain America New World Order. I think it'll be the Black Widow movie we should have gotten in the first place. That's my prediction. I'm very hopeful for that. I think it's going to be good times. Blade. Oh, I hope it even comes out on that date. Let's see. Deadpool 3. Easy money, baby. It's going to be incredible. It's going to make all the money in the world. I'm so excited, and I hope it has lots of great surprises. If anybody understands how important Easter eggs are, it's Mr. Ryan Reynolds. You saw, my allergies are bothering me a little bit today. What was the name of that movie where he was in a video game? How am I forgetting it? I'm playing with my comb. Free Guy. I knew it started with an F. Thank you. So many great Easter eggs, including Marvel Easter eggs. Chris Evans even showed up. It was incredible. Hey, Andy. So I think that's fantastic. I think that he's going to have so many Easter eggs in that movie. It's going to be insane. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So yes. So yeah, fantastic. Deadpool 3, big hit. Fantastic Four. I think that could be big. If they cast it correctly, and it sounds like they're going for some really cool, I think they seem to be leaning into Reed being a jerk, and Reed is a jerk. So I love it. I'm so excited about that. I'm very, very excited. So I think Fantastic Four, if they get the casting right on Fantastic Four, I think it'll be big. If they punt and they cast like losery actors that aren't that exciting, who are like more cost effective, I'm going to be nervous. Avengers Kang Dynasty. I think Destin Daniel Cretton is a genius. I think he's up there I think he's the next Ryan Coogler when it comes to Marvel. So I feel very good about the Kang Dynasty. When it comes to Avengers Secret Wars, I'm scared. I'm real scared. Because I think that Michael Waldron did such a bad job. I thought Secret Wars would be a slam dunk. But you know what? All Michael Waldron has to do is set up people to fight each other. That's all he's got to do. Now, you would think that's kind of what he was supposed to do in Multiverse of Madness. But yeah, look how short the fights were for Reed and Black Bolt. Now, of course, the rumor was that's because they were added at the last minute. But doesn't matter. Why would you do that? Why would you be like, let's add bad stuff at the last minute? And they cut a lot of Wanda's fights out because they didn't want to have an R rating. That's right, Denzel. That's funny. Secret Wars, you in danger, girl. I agree. Hey, Trevor. And then Alan says, by the way, where's Armor Wars? It is, Armor Wars is a movie, but not everything's dated. So let me tell you, they also have some other dates. In 2025, they have 2 movies slated right now, but they have 2 other release dates for that year. Again, February 14th, and also, do they have February 14th? No, wait. I wrote the wrong one down. July 25th and something else. Where did it go? Here it is. Hold on. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here it is. I have the page still open. They only have July 25th in 2025. Okay, so what about November 2025? Maybe they'll release something in November 2025. Then for 2026, they have also February 13th, July 24th, and November 6th. It's too many. This is too much. I never thought we would say it. How do you guys feel? I think this is too much. I never thought that we would say this about Marvel. I think Kevin Feige might have too many toys. That might be his problem. But what do you guys think? I think it's too much. It's just too much. And then also, we have to wait too long. As you guys were saying, like Steven, you're like, okay, so when am I getting the X-Men? 2027? Nacho says too much and not enough X-Men. That's pretty funny. Thanks, Tiff. I love chatting with you too. Lisa says never too much. Lisa, that's fantastic. I love it. I have to agree with you. At least from a box office perspective, they're doing okay. I think ratings-wise, they're starting to slip. But I don't think it'll be a real emergency until they have a real problem with the box office. Josh says, will Kang Dynasty film in 2023 or 2024? That's a good question. Let's see. When's Kang coming out? 2025. Probably late 2023 or early 2024. They're going to want to do a lot of VFX on that for sure. And apparently they need lots of time to fix it at the last minute if necessary, based on their track record. Marduk, welcome. All right, welcome back. All right, so it's 5:18. Whew, we're having such a good time. It's 5:18. We've already been on here for, how long has this been? Oh, almost an hour. You can ask me anything you'd like for 10 minutes. And now I'm going to pay attention to all the questions. You know, I'll stop what I'm talking about when I see a super chat or, you know, one of your monthly super comments. But now I can look at all the comments. So it's 5:18, and also I'll go to 5:28. Aaliyah says, when do you think the Fantastic Four cast will be announced? Well, let me get rid of this image. That's a good question. I think that pretty soon. I think that they've been talking to people, and they have their director, they have their release date, they have their screenwriter, somebody we've never heard of. I wish they made more of an effort with screenwriters. Remember the days they used to have famous screenwriters who were really good at their jobs? But yeah, I think that you should, by the end of the year for sure. Bug says, I'm going to Disneyland for the first time this month. Oh, have a great time. Disneyland is a wonderful resort, and I absolutely love the old-time classic feel that it has. It's just really wonderful. Mika says, Perot is back for another movie. What are your thoughts? I'm shocked. I'm shocked that that franchise is coming back. I heard it must have done well. It must have done well on Hulu, and I heard it did very well overseas. I also think they feel there's an opening because for all the deal that Netflix made, Knives Out isn't really any longer a theatrical movie. So they still have a theatrical murder mystery. But I don't know. Jorge says, opinion on Lisa Rinna's behavior on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Too far. Inexcusable. Let's see here. Josh says, in honor of the reunion tomorrow, rank the current cast of all the Real Housewives questions. That's funny. Okay. Well, I'll do it. All right. Garcelle, Sutton. I think Dorit did a pretty good job this season. Kyle, at least Kyle's pretty interesting. Kathy Hilton, Erica, Diana, and then Lisa Rinna. Sebastian says, will you ever... Well, there's not much to see. Let's see here. It's just my desk here. Caesar says, could they soft boot after Secret Wars and streamline plot lines and care? Oh, well, Caesar, the problem is I don't know if they'll let them. I think that Disney, the parent company, wants this pipeline of Marvel content. And that's the problem. I think that's the issue that they're dealing with. I think it's the demand from the higher ups. And so Kevin Feige, you know, he's certainly in control of his little corner of Disney, but it's still a corner of Disney. And Disney is Bob Chapek is squeezing Kevin Feige like he's squeezing guests to the theme parks. He's getting every penny out of him that he can. And, you know, it's a bit much. He's feeling the squeeze. Let's see here. Starry says, do you think the Marvels has a better chance of succeeding over Ant-Man since Captain Marvel made $1 billion? I think Captain Marvel made $1 billion because of, I don't know. I think that's an interesting question. Captain Marvel did make $1 billion, and I personally, sometimes I love Brie Larson in the role. Sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? So I have to see both trailers to really understand how I think they'll do. I know that the Marvels has a lot of fun stuff in it. Hey, Dent. Oh, hold on. I missed some comments. Oh, my goodness. Cool person. Any chance of a video game original Marvel character coming to the MCU? Guillotine is a really cool character, but I fear they have too many characters cool. They don't have space. They don't have space for the ones that are big. They have a long history, but I appreciate your enthusiasm there. I think they don't have enough of an interest in video games to really make that happen. Devin Bennett says, will we get Inhumans again in the proper MCU? I don't think so. I think the Eternals are the Inhumans. How could you have the Eternals and the Inhumans? Rahul says, with MCU stuttering, are we becoming the Pepperidge Farm meme? Back in old days, MCU movies or events. You mean like Pepperidge Farm, remembers? I don't want to be a doomsayer. I don't want to like say doomsday, but I do think we're approaching a little bit of a Star Wars. Star Wars? I think it's incredible we're approaching a little bit of a DC situation, which, who would have ever thought? Let's see, I have another comment here. Alon says, with Werewolf by Night introducing oldie horror into the MCU, now resurrect Tony Frankenstein like the next time. Well, you think they'll make a Halloween special every year? That'd be interesting. Finn says, why are comic book stories that are created nowadays not positively received of good quality? What's the difference between back then and now? Oh, that's interesting, Finn. I think that they are paying a little bit too much attention to the comic book industry. The comic book industry used to have less at stake. They were left alone. They could be really good. Also, they had better editors. Also, the comic book industry is incredibly unprofessional. They just hire friends. Nobody has agents really, unless they want to work in Hollywood proper. You can't really apply for a job. You have to go to conventions and like befriend people, which is a ridiculous way to get a job. And then that leads to abuse because you're in a ridiculous situation. So it's just, I think that's the problem with it. I think a big problem is the loss of really strong editors. Let's see here. Somebody gave me a very nice thing that I want to, where did it go? There we go. Hold on. Brad, thank you. That is so kind of you, Brad. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I'll make sure I see everybody's comments. Where did it go? Okay. All right. I wish that they wouldn't move the chat on me. Nacho says, Grace, are you excited for Gaga's Harley? She's going to be the first bisexual actress to play Harley. Only straight actresses have played her. Yeah, I think Lady Gaga is made for the role. I think it's also funny that everyone was like, look, Margot Robbie gives her blessing. And you're like, what else was Margot Robbie going to say? It was a really aggressive move of Lady Gaga. And I think that Lady Gaga needs to nail that to make that worthwhile, to do that, to totally blindside somebody else like that. Because we all know that she met with Margot Robbie to be in Birds of Prey and then took her part in a different movie. All right, Devin Bennett says, I hate the game, not the player. But, you got to make sure, if you're going to make moves like that, you have to succeed. Although I think that she probably will. I loved her in House of Gucci, though, and others did not. Well, when the first time she walked across that parking lot in House of Gucci, I was like, what a star. Devin says, with NBC Universal buying Warner Brothers, will we stay with HBO Max or will they redo it? I think that I don't know what they'll call it for sure. They're trying to currently rebrand it as something with Warner Brothers in the name or Warner in the name. But I think you're going to have one giant, massive streaming service like Paramount Plus, where you're like, what is this behemoth? I know Juice says, is Bob Chapek the reason for Marvel doing too much content while also going the cheap route with screenwriters? I don't know if he's telling them to bring their costs down because they've been using unknowns for a while and they were lucky in some cases. Like, look where the Russo brothers came from. And, the Russo brothers have had problems outside of Marvel as soon as they left. But I think that if you try to save money all the time, you just can't bat 1,000. It's just the law of averages. You're eventually going to get someone who's not very good for a reason, or not very big. Jesse the Good Witch says, could BTT Movie Club do an Angela Lansbury movie watch along in November? Let's try. That would be very sweet. Maybe we'll watch Gaslight if you've never seen Gaslight. That's such a good movie. Jazz says, mutants should be from another universe. Introducing them via Ms. Marvel and Namor at this stage, I feel robbed. New backstories for Magneto, that means half-baked stuff. Hate weak scripts, thoughts. I agree. I told you in my video, I think there's a very good chance that they could maybe bring some of them over in the Deadpool 3 movie. But yeah, I'm not so pleased the way the X-Men have entered, or mutants have entered the MCU for sure, as you know. Jacob says, I like aspects of the new Marvel and its characters, but I miss the old Marvel formula and the hype we got for the next movie. I would agree with that. Let's see here. Dent, I missed your super chat. Thoughts on Star Wars, The Acolyte, plot rumors, and Kate Herron directing buzz. Well, if Kate Herron, I didn't hear that. I'm all in if she directs. And I have not heard anything about the plot, but I'm already kind of all in because of the cast. I think the cast is really exciting. Did I miss anybody there? Let's see here. Jonah says, Grace, with all of this Marvel disarray, what's going to happen to Pirates of the Caribbean 6? I think I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make that, or I don't know what they're going to do with Pirates of the Caribbean 6. I honestly, I don't know how you can make that without Johnny Depp. I just don't see a way. Is Wonder Woman 3 going to have release date? I think it all hinges on whether or not Black Adam does well. Tiff says, must see expectations for She-Hulk finale. Ooh, I know it's going to be fun. I just hope that it ends on a positive note. Barbie Minaj says, when do you think we'll get a Quantum Mania trailer? I think maybe with Avatar 2. Barbie, hi Barbie, I like your picture a lot. I would think in front of Black Panther. Although I think when we have Quantum Mania and Avatar 2 trailers in front of Black Panther, that would be wonderful. Man, it's slow right now. Please. Xtina says, do you agree with Jennifer Lawrence when she said Erica Jane is evil? I do, and so is Diana. Yeah, I don't know. I think Erica Jane, is a very specific type of person. And I've seen Erica Jane also be quite kind. So I think Erica Jane maybe is very emotional. Like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think Erica Jane is very dramatic and has certainly said some things that she shouldn't have. But I do also understand that her life is totally destroyed. And I think that for the most part, I think maybe she knew her husband maybe wasn't the most, kind person, but I don't think she thought he was doing criminal activities. So I don't think she's evil. I think Diana is a horrible person, but I think Lisa Rinna is actually, pretty evil. I think what she said to Kathy Hilton was ridiculous. Let's see here. Hey, Aaron. Alwatch says, how many videos will you upload after the Black Adam movie? I need to see it first, Alwatch. Whenever I have a big movie coming out, as soon as I see it, I make a list of all the movies that of all the videos I want to make based on it. Philip says, why are all the MCU movies PG-13? Money? Yes. But I think that Deadpool 3, especially with Wolverine in it, will be rated R. Daniel says, do you think that we will have multiple Black Panthers? No, that was the exact same Black Panther. There was that Black Panther in the back of the shot with Namor. That was Shuri. I don't understand why everybody thought it was a different Black Panther. It's the exact same suit. However, multiple people will be Black Panther, just not all at the same time. I think you will have multiple people being Black Panther, but there can only be one Black Panther at a time. I wouldn't want them to turn the Black Panthers into the Black Widows. I couldn't think of a worse thing for them to do. Let's see. I missed some comments here. Hold on. Elon says, you don't think holiday specials should be yearly? Yeah, I think that would be nice, but I just wonder if they're going to be doing that. Denzel says, Grace, did you see the Doom Patrol trailer? I did. A little too kooky for me. I don't even know if I'm going to cover that in Titans. But I did still watch both trailers, though. I think that New York Comic Con does not get the attention that other conventions do, and I think it's not a good idea for them to release things in the middle of the night on the weekend. They're like, why did nobody pay attention to our trailer that we released on Sunday at 9 o'clock or Saturday at 9 p.m.? Phil Layfield has been rewatching Frasier recently. What are your thoughts on the OG cast not returning as regulars? Let's see. I think if enough money's there. I mean, none of them are working. I'm loving Frasier. I rewatching Frasier, watching Real Housewives. These are things that have nothing to do with what I cover. So, because as someone who covers entertainment, it allows me to just truly turn my brain off. That and reality shows. Dante says, I thought it would have been so cool to have introduced Ghost Rider and Multiverse of Madness instead of Illuminati, especially with Keanu Reeves. That would be, I don't know, Keanu Reeves, he's a little overextended. Thanks, Ike and Ike. Rahul Ranjan says, on House of the Dragon, I have an epiphany. When Viserys was talking to Alicent, he was actually having a premonition of Aegon Targaryen, Jon Snow, as the prince who was promised. That's hey, thank you very much. I think that's basically the consensus, that he was talking about Aegon the Conqueror's vision, but the vision is of Jon Snow. So who the hell, I mean, I don't know, but then Jon Snow didn't unite everybody. So I don't understand this thing. I will also tell you that part of the reason I think I misinterpreted the premonition is that I don't think the premonition is ridiculous. I don't think it doesn't belong on that show. It's not that kind of show. I'm not a fan. Marco says, hi, Grace. Do you think Werewolf by Night was in black and white to target adults only due to the violence? I think it was in black and white to help with the rating. You know, Michael Giacchino said because it was in black and white, that's probably one of the reasons they could stay TV 14. Let's see here. Smart Girl says, when AMC stubs are used for tickets, does the movie get credit? Yes, it does. That's a great question, and I believe that they do. Kyle says, what do you think of Patty saying she is writing Wonder Woman 3? I'm sure she is, but that doesn't mean anybody has to make it. Again, that's like, you can do what you want. I'm sure she is writing Wonder Woman 3 and slipping it and leaving it in Zazzy's parking space and being like, oh, you want to park your car? What's this? My script. But I don't know if they're definitely going to make it. Chico says, when does the Black Adam embargo lift? I'll tell you. Hold on. 1 second. I will tell you the exact time. One second. I got to find it. I got a lot of emails to go through. Okay, the social media embargo lifts tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and the premiere ends. Then the review embargo lifts October 18th, which is a Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's when the embargo lifts. And then I got to look into the overseas release to decide when I'm going to drop my spoiler review. Pretty exciting stuff. Let's see here. Smart Girl, I feel bad you retract your message there. Daniel, I already answered the multiple Black Panther. Oh, these are old comments. Kyle says, Grace, what do you think of Cate Blanchett and Brendan Fraser being considered the frontrunners for this year's Oscars, and both are playing LGBTQ? I've certainly heard very good things about their performances, but I'm curious. I think that right now they don't have very good, I think that they don't have very exciting awards contenders, so I'm worried about the ratings. Whose super chat did I miss? How did I miss a super chat? Pretty sure I saw everybody's super chat. Oh my goodness. Maxim, Mr. King Palma says, are you reviewing Dahmer? No, I'm not, because it's too disturbing for me. Although I did save the article to cover on Movie Math on Sunday. Well, no, Movie Math this week will be on Tuesday. It's the last time it'll be delayed this year. But Dahmer is the second biggest hit ever at Netflix after Stranger Things. That's incredible. Nicholas and Evan Peters is like, am I getting anything out of this? Nicholas says, hi, Grace. Do you think Scream 6 will be a hit? How do you think Halloween Ends will do? I think Halloween Ends is on Peacock day and date. I do not think it will do particularly well. I think that Scream 6, let's see. People were very excited about Kirby. Oscar says, did you always like Frasier, or did it grow on you? As a teenager, I always assumed the show was boring, so I never gave it a chance, but I might now. I've always enjoyed Frasier, but I certainly, when you have, it's not fresh, and you have, you look at it more analytically, you really appreciate more the craftsmanship. I did that with all the sitcoms that I watched over the pandemic. Devin says, what are Black Adam box office predictions? My local IMAX in Chicago only has 5 tickets sold for opening Friday at 7. I think it's going to do Hobbs and Shaw numbers, hopefully. I do think the pre-sales are awful. It's tracking like Hobbs and Shaw, though, so everybody might just show up at the last minute. Henry Cavill better pray that they do. Winter says, what's your favorite theater? I live in New York City, too, and my favorite is the IMAX at Lincoln Square. Yep, that's my favorite, too. Biggest commercial IMAX in the country. It is like Mecca for moviegoers. It's incredible. Couldn't agree more, Winter. GP says the Russos should go back to their roots and help write the Community movie and make it a huge success for Peacock, so MCU begs for them to come back. The MCU said no. The Russo brothers said they wanted to come back for Secret Wars, and Kevin Feige was like, no thanks, I'm good. Juan says, did you think Taylor Swift could win an Oscar with her short film? She seems to be following the Kobe path. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I love Taylor Swift. Not only do I love a lot of her songs, but I think she's I think that she's a very kind and nice person and a very smart businesswoman. But she is not a good actress. I saw Amsterdam over the weekend. It was okay. It wasn't as bad as everyone's saying, but I certainly wouldn't go to see it in a theater. But, you can watch it. It's a little self-indulgent. I don't know why he tried to make a Wes Anderson movie when he's not Wes Anderson. He should have called Wes Anderson up and said, have I got an idea for you? How much you want to pay me for it? And it's also surprisingly political film. Amsterdam is actually quite a political movie. So anyway, what was I answering? But Taylor Swift has a small part in it, and she was not good. Maximilian says, any chance of Scarlett Johansson coming back as Black Widow? Felt she never got her due for being an original. Yeah, it was kind of sad. And I think it's a big commentary on how women are still treated. And it's sad. It's very sad. But maybe in Secret Wars. You know, she could be a variant of herself. That'd make me happy. She never really did get a chance to shine, which is actually pretty sad. I'll never forget that time I went to see Civil War? Yeah, Civil War. And it was so incredible. And I remember a woman in front of me, they had let, audience, fans into the critic screening. And when Black Widow was fighting at the beginning in Africa, I think that was in Africa in the beginning, but in that square, this woman was doing the fighting along with Black Widow. She's like, yeah, get her, boo, boo, boo. And sound effects. And I was like, oh yeah, Lagos. And I was like, wow, this character means so much to this woman. It made me so happy. And I was like, I feel bad that Black Widow doesn't get more respect. Danny says, Grace, do you miss doing theater reactions? There was some safety issues with it, so I do not miss it at all for that reason. But I did like interacting with everybody. But they're just, for many, many reasons, they're not something that you could do anymore for a lot of reasons. Britt says, will Amsterdam affect Margot? Career or Oscar chances for Babylon? I really like Margot Robbie. I actually think she's a pretty good businesswoman when she takes herself out of the equation. But she's not a box office draw. And I feel like I just don't think that Babylon is going to do particularly well either. Who here is excited about Babylon? I have a friend who works in the industry who could not be more excited about Babylon. My friend was like, I wish I wrote that. Thanks, Danny. I'll do shout outs in a minute. Some of you are. I think if you're really into movies. Oh yes, Barbie. Barbie should be huge. Although I'm still waiting for everyone to see what Barbie's really about. I've told you what Barbie's really about, but they have not made that clear at all to the major audience. So I'm curious how people will react. I'm very excited about it, and I know what Barbie's really about. And I'm still excited. Thanks, Carter. I think Barbie has to be PG-13, Noah. I don't know how Mattel would release a movie like that. Barbie, for those of you who don't know, Barbie has multiple Barbies and Kens. And it's not just Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, but, it also has Barbie and Kens of color and also LGBT and trans. And so that's what, they really are trying to, I think highlight who Barbie is and who Barbie represents. Thanks, John. I don't think it's about traditional Barbie and Ken. I think it's about Barbie and Ken the way they are today. But I got to tell you, I think Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach are geniuses. I think that Little Women and Marriage Story were incredible. So I think it's going to be brilliant. But I don't know how commercial it's going to be. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's right, Winter. It is Barbie Secret Wars. That's pretty funny. And Barbie in the multiverse of Barbies. That's funny. I like that. All right, so shout out time. Just tell me what you're doing. Where are you? What are you up to? How's your week going? Just so I can say hi to people. Nuno, I think Harry Styles' career as an actor is definitely over. I think you'd be nuts to hire him. Let's see here. What's wrong with Frank, Nay Arts? And this is a very long stream. Lewis says, just got back from a meal with work friends. Oh, that's very nice. Danny says, ready for Christmas in Chicago. You're skipping right over Halloween and Thanksgiving, although Christmas is pretty great. Andy says, I'm at UCLA resting in between classes. Oh, what a great university. Let's see here. Mexican 8 Nacho says, finally back in the streams. Mexican Nacho, you're always great to have around. Carrie says, ready for a nap in Chicago. That's pretty funny, Carrie. I like that. You're very in the now, Carrie. Let's see here. Devin says, the Jordan Peele and Henry Selick project one. It looks interesting to me. But we're not doing questions anymore. I guess unless you super chat them. Haunted Autumn says, enjoying a London fog, my favorite tea-based drink in Minnesota. I don't even know what a London fog is. I'm enticed, though. A nice use of the emoji. Noah is eating some New Jersey pizza. Eddie Wu is watching from UC Berkeley. Oh, that's another great school. Russ Hutch says, watching from Australia, first time I could get to a stream live. Oh, that's right, Australia. So I had to become a member. Love your work, Grace. I watch every video. Oh, I'm so glad. What time is it in Australia? It's like ridiculous, right? Rahul says, winding up to sleep. I enrolled myself in a writing class today. That novel is not going quicker. That's really good, though. You know, Rahul, I'm so glad that you decided to do something about your writer's block. That's really proactive of you. You should be proud of yourself for that. Jesse the Good Witch says, getting ready for my last appointment of the day in San Diego and then getting ready for Halloween Ends this week. Oh, I love it. Sina says, is it based on the Babylon book? And if so, wasn't all that gossip and no basis in any truth? I'm not familiar with the book. I hope this isn't another blonde situation. John says, I proposed to my girlfriend getting married in August. Congratulations! Oh, huzzah! Huzzah! Oh, that's wonderful. Matt's coming at you from work in Michigan. Matt, I got the action figure, as you know. Matt's going to be on the show. He'll be on a live stream towards the end of the month, and we're going to talk about the action figure, and I'm going to show it off because it just turned out that good. I couldn't believe it. Ike and Ike is just starting Werewolf by Night. You're in for a treat. Enjoy. Fidel says, in Memphis, enjoying fall break with a snickerdoodle muffin. Oh, that sounds great. Tom Barron says, studying for a test for management in the Czech Republic. Oh, I love it. As you know, my ancestors, some of them are Czech, so I feel a kinship with you. Anthony says, hey, I consider you a friend from afar. Oh, right back at ya. Mentioned last stream how I'd love to see a business video, a playlist, a full breakdown of movie from funding, casting, writing, pre-post, all of it. That's tough. Maybe a live stream. Because there's not going to be that much. That video would take so long to make, and there would not be a lot of interest in something like that. So I have to kind of balance that, supply and demand. But maybe a live stream at some point. Maybe. I'm thinking of introducing another tier of membership. So I'm not sure. Silas says, homework in Switzerland. Oh, that's nice. That's very atmospheric. Britt says, I don't think so. It's an original idea based on old Hollywood stars. You're talking about Babylon. Vladimir says, laying in bed with my cat on my lap. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, in Belgrade, relaxing with your stream before bed. Oh, that's such a nice picture. Belgrade. Ooh. I hope you and your cat had a nice day. Starry says, go to rewatch Iron Man 2 and eat dinner in Pennsylvania. I love it, Starry. I just recently rewatched Iron Man 2. Had a great time, although some of that movie is already very dated. And also, I have relatives in Pennsylvania, so I love Pennsylvania. Harlequin Dove says, Tristan, my son, has another ear infection, and he just got done with antibiotics for 3 days ago. So watching your stream, he keeps getting them. He keeps getting the ear infections. I was like, he keeps getting on the streams? I'm very sorry to hear about Tristan, Harlequin Dove, but he's very lucky to have you taking such good care of him. And you're being very patient. And I'm like, why do you keep infecting your ear? What's happening? But I'm glad that you're on it. I always love when parents and children are close, because I'm very close with my parents. Marco says, trying to learn Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker theme on the piano. It's not going very well. Don't give up. I love that theme. So that's a very nice, didn't Tchaikovsky also do Sleeping Beauty? But anyway, that's a lovely goal. I hope you master it. Philip says, I'm looking for a new Halloween inspiration. I was Witcher a few years ago. Oh, that must have been pretty cool. Denzel says, I have no idea what I'm going to have for dinner. I might have chicken tortellini, so maybe that gives you an idea. Snivvyling says, sad I missed the stream. I can tell it was tons of fun. It was tons of fun. At least I think so. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Hey, Luis. Okay, I'll do a few more shout-outs, and then I got to go. Luis says, hi from Chicago. Love your videos, Grace. Thanks, Luis. It's so nice to have you as a member. Mandy C says, it's 80 degrees here. Wow, that's warm in Minneapolis, Mandy. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's see here. Thanks, Anthony. I'll try and try and do that at some point. Maybe in the new year. As told by Alex, welcome back, says playing horror video games in chilly Boston weather. Oh, that sounds like fun. Alex, you're the you do hair in movies and TV, right? I see you on Twitter. Starry says, any other plans to stream this week? Oh, we should definitely do a stream tomorrow. And then I'm not sure about the rest of the week. I have one more personal thing coming up this weekend, and then I will be all yours. Kay says it's almost 90 degrees in Hawaii. Show off. And look at your picture. Oh my goodness, that's great. I love Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. Me and mosquitoes don't get along, so it makes me a little nervous. I have very bad reactions to mosquito bites. Nuno says, tuning in from Portugal. Keep up being awesome. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. D. Brent says, I'm at work. Patient says she likes your voice. You're on speakers, not AirPods. Hello to your patient. I hope they're doing well. I hope she's doing well. Leaving in 10 to go make dinner for the hubby and cats. That's so nice of you, Brent, to have such a nice job like that. Thanks. Much love to you too, Bug. Andy says, is live chat access for anyone still only one stream per week? Andy, it's every other week. I try to do it. But yes, every other week we'll do for all subscribers. Luis says, I am an A-list member at AMC and I go to movies. I'm an A-list member too, and I go to movies every week after work. I love the movies. They're great. They're really wonderful. Henry X says, I missed this one. Too much news going on. Yeah, we had a fun time. But I got to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. It was so nice to have so many people on the live stream. You guys were wonderful. Thank you again. And it'll be a big end of the week. It's been very slow at the beginning of the week, but things should pick up starting tomorrow evening. And then they're going to be ridiculous for 2 days. So I don't know why they don't spread this stuff out, but that's the way it is. Brett says, headed back home to Kansas after performing last weekend in New York. Oh, I hope you had a good time at New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con is a really great convention to attend. I just don't know how great it is for publicity purposes. Okay, everybody. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.